Australia has lost another one of its stars from the golden days of radio. Hal Lashwood's career in the entertainment industry spanned half a century in theatre, radio and television.
To Harry Griffiths, the boom years of radio came in the 40s and 50s, the days of radio drama and variety. He played young Harry in Roy Reen's Mackackie Mansions. The comedy spot may have been only 8 minutes long, but it attracted an audience of millions and stole crowds from the picture theatres. The first Australian radio show to have such an impact. One of the most dominant characters in the show was Hal Lashwood. Harry Griffiths is saddened by the loss of the comedian once voted the most handsome man in radio.
He was a marvellous combination of a man with a marvellous sense of humour, a laugher, a loud laugher, but could change like that if you brought up something serious like importing acts or shows.
As president of Actors Equity for a quarter of a century, Hal Lashwood fought to foster an Australian entertainment industry of international standing.
We know, and we have ways of finding out who are the true stars on the international scene, and there will be no attempt to stop these people, provided that there is some agreement reached on a cultural exchange basis. We simply want to create a situation whereby Australians are given more opportunities.
From vaudeville actor to broadcaster, from union official to ABC commissioner, Hal Lashwood is remembered by his colleagues as a visionary who championed Australian content across the arts.
So, good evening everybody. My name is Patrick Frost. I'm currently the president of the Equity section of the Media, Entertainment and Arts Alliance here in South Australia. And that means I'm a proud member of Actors Equity. Now this bloke here, you probably know him. He was born in this street actually, in Hindley Street in Adelaide, Harry van der Sluis. And he became known of course as Mo Mackackie. And you'll get introduced to him tonight too if you haven't already met him. So Mo was a very active member of the union as well. He joined in the very early days of our 75 years of history. And in those days, conditions in the industry were pretty tough. When I first joined, here's my card. I first joined the union in the early 70s, 1974, so I've been a member for about 40 years of our history. Conditions then were a lot better than they were for Mo. But, you know, we still had a few battles. We fought about imported artists. We fought about Australian programs on our television, telling Australian stories. We also looked after our members across all parts of the industry. So my activism, if you like, with Actors Equity has been something that I'm both proud of and supportive of, I guess. I really like the idea that once you graduate as a young actor, you can join the union and you become part of the family, the performers family. So I hope you recognise that 75 years of a union like ours is a fair old achievement, and there are still some battles that we still have to work with, particularly around the idea that a big star can come in and shoot a movie and that will do the movie a lot of good. That'll make it better than it would if we had Australian actors in it. I don't know when we'll ever get rid of that concept, but I'm working as hard as I can to make sure that Australians are cast in the best roles, get the best opportunities, and work in the best conditions they can. So enjoy our little tribute, which will take you through the next 10 minutes or so. There's a bit of history. There's a few tributes from some younger members, and it's our little South Australian way to say thanks Equity and happy birthday.
My name's Lizzie Hay and I've been a member of Equity since the 17th of November in 2010 when I joined upon finishing drama school.
Paul Blackwell speaking to you, member since 1982.
Hi, I'm Tim Overton. I've been a member since the 11th of February 2008.
Hello, my name's Chrissy Page. I've been a member of Actors Equity since 1988. Here's my card.
Hi, Alan Holly. This is my equity card. I've been a member continuously since 1979. It's really important. This is my ace in the hole.
It's Equity's birthday. Previous to 1988, when I first joined, I actually worked as an agent, and it was in that time that I realised the true value of Actors Equity. I had a lot of clients on my books, and we had all sorts of issues that we couldn't sort, and we had the absolute pleasure of being able to just pick up the phone and ring Equity, and Equity would help sort it out. It could be anything from money's not paid, or conditions being wrong, or just appalling contracts. So Actors Equity featured in that side of my world as well. Since I've gone back to performing, I've been on the South Australian Performance Committee. I've actually acted as organiser for a time, which was an amazing experience, actually working and seeing the innermost technical side of equity, if you like. I'm now just on the Performers Committee. I'm off to the conference in a couple of weeks, which I'm really looking forward to. What I love about equity is the sense of community, the sense of belonging to a professional organisation, the knowledge that we're all in it together. And I would really encourage young people to join us, to fly that flag proudly, because it's a hard industry. We know that. There's not a lot of work around, and we want to make sure that that work is paid well and has the right conditions, and that we are treated fairly and justly.
There was a distinct need amongst the old fogies on the committee to have some young people involved. And oh, here's one now. No, I've been a proud member the whole time. I really love being a part of Actors Equity and the community that comes with that. They've really helped me a lot in the last couple of years. Situations I've gotten into that are a bit sticky, and Equity sweeps in and bails me out, which is really fantastic. And I love the sense of community. I love that we can all sort of, it's the only way really that we can all band together as artists and be a unified group. And Equity really does represent our best interests, as we on the committee are constantly trying to do the best thing by artists, and the committee across Australia is trying to do the best by all of us. So I think it's really valuable stuff that they do, and I will continue to be a member, and I encourage you, if you haven't signed up, please do sign up. It's a really important cause.
I joined in Sydney, and so I've been involved in Sydney, but also in Adelaide since I moved here in the last 15 years or so. I'd like to wish Equity a very warm, happy birthday, congratulations. I think it's important that we remember everything that's been achieved in the first 75 years. Getting paid for rehearsal, for example. It's easy to forget all the things that we take for granted these days. Equity is very important as a voice to government, and as a voice, a national voice to our producers and employers in terms of our conditions and legal relationships. And also, it's very important at a local level in that we look after each other, and that I feel grateful for the support that I've had from the local committee and the national committee as well. So it's funny that a lot of the battles that have happened during my time in Equity still seem to come up. Imported artists is one that's all seems to be there perennially. If you can edit that, yearly.
I joined the union because I had been planning to since probably I started seeing players and reading in programs that so-and-so was a proud member of Equity, and that was what I had always dreamed of putting on a program. I sort of really liked the idea of a union and kind of belonging to a group that kind of, to me, meant that I was a professional and that I had kind of joined the industry. I joined the Performance Committee, the South Australian Performance Committee, when I was doing a play with Chrissy Page, who was also a member of the committee at the time, and she sort of kind of mentioned that there might have been a lack of young Flinders graduates on the committee, and I sort of put my hand up quite straight away and thought that I'd, love to join. From there I went on to be a part of the National Performance Committee, which has meant that I've represented actors and performers from South Australia kind of on a national front, which has been really amazing and kind of overwhelming in lots of ways, but I'm really proud to be doing that. Yeah.
Hello from Equity UK in Guildhouse in the West End of London. These days I'm an Assistant General Secretary for Equity, but for your 75th anniversary I'm remembering 17 years as a member and an official with Australian Equity. I learnt my craft with you. I remember the people and the work. Hal Alexander, Bob Alexander, who unfortunately just recently died. They were stalwarts of the union, and the union would not have existed without those first two General Secretaries. Michael Crosbie and Anne Britton continued the work. The officials working with the members, Don Crosbie, Hal Ashwood, Paddy Amphlett, Simon Burke. We called it grassroots unionism when we developed it together in South Australia. Patrick Frost, Alan Holey, Eileen Darley, Don Barker, Emma and Henry Salter, and so many more. The names are important. They worked for you. They made things better. Members and officials working together, and some pretty good officials in Adelaide. Elliot Johnson, Don Dunstan, John Bannon, Colin McKee. I got to know all of them. But for me the two big ones are Susie Beale and Colleen Ross. Two strong, passionate, radical women who whipped the South Australian division into shape. Was it always easy? Was it always comfortable? Did everyone always agree on what is to be done? No. But it was democratic. It was vital, it was vibrant, it was meaningful. And when I became secretary in 1989, those two had built a platform where, along with the committee, we could fight for arts funding, fight for members' pay, terms and conditions, fight for work opportunities in South Australia, like Shine, Bad Boy Bubby, Rabbit Proof Fence. A South Australian film industry, not just a film industry in South Australia. The Arts Industry Council, Film South, South Australian Film Corporation. On your behalf, I sat on all of them. Now, they wouldn't have me on the board of the Adelaide Festival. A cloth cap in the John Bishop Room. Do you remember the headline? So, we democratised them instead. With the help of Anne Levy as a Labour Arts Minister, she started it. And then Diana Laidlaw as a Liberal Arts Minister, she finished it. Any port in a storm. Grassroots unionism, members and officials working together on a common agenda. We've got it now in the UK, and we call it organising for success. And I learnt it with you. Since it started here, membership numbers are increasing, now about 1,000 members a year. Subscription income is up 3.4% last year. So thank you. Thank you from me and from the UK Union. In little old South Australia, in little old Adelaide, all the discussion, debate, democracy, decision, do it. It paid off.
The South Australian Film Corporation says it's been forced to close its documentary division because of budget problems. Problems Actors Equity says were caused by cost overruns in the making of the TV series Ultraman. At a meeting today, the state's public sector unions called on the government to intervene and keep the division open. They warned that if the unit is closed at the end of the month, more than 180 people will lose their jobs.
We're all absolutely agreed that if this bread and butter area of work goes, then a South Australian film industry is a joke.
They're also angry that the decision was made before the government's review of the Film Corporation was completed.
Well, the government's reviewing the Film Corporation, but it's actually going to cut off its ability to make money, then the result of the review is pretty clear now, isn't it? The Film Corporation's dead, and that would be a disaster for this state.
Outside Parliament House today, members of Actors Equity were angry. They say the state's arts industry is at crisis point. No longer can it absorb any more cuts to its $67 million state government funding.
They have got to work out the bottom line in terms of having a nationally and internationally competitive arts industry, which is what we've got here.
Shadow Arts Minister Lee Davies says South Australia risks losing its traditional arts leadership.
All around Australia we're seeing governments recognising the importance of the arts. It improves quality of life, brings business into a city. In Melbourne, they're bidding to become the cultural capital of Australia, at a time when Adelaide is looking to slash arts funding.
Arts Minister Anne Levy, however, says the arts aren't being singled out for cuts, and that any figures mentioned are pure guesswork.
My aim is to ensure that any cuts are in administration and bureaucracy, not in arts programs and arts product.
Actors Equity members plan to take their concerns direct to the Premier within the next few weeks.
As a fellow senior citizen, I would like to wish Equity all the best for their 65th birthday, and I hope they go on a lot longer than I will.
If you don't fight, you lose, and you never give up. We're stronger together than we are apart. 75 years. I'm really sorry I can't be there tonight. The unity of Labour is the hope of the world. Proper Labour. Labour with a U in it. See you at the 100th.
I've been a member and I've valued my membership, not only because it's a union membership, but because it's a guild membership. People in Equity care about each other, and that's what I care about. Happy 75th birthday and 75 more.
That's it. Happy birthday, Equity. Happy 75 years. And see you later.
It's great to have been along for the ride, and I hope we have great success for the next 75 years. And thanks to all those people who work so hard in the local committees and nationally, and have done so for so long. Cheers.
And just, I'd like to say a big happy birthday to Equity. I've only been a member of the union for a small part of its history, but hopefully it's going to be for a lot longer. Happy birthday.
So that's the end of our little tribute tonight. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks to Mo McCackey, what a great character. And thanks to everybody from the South Australian Performers Committee, very hard-working bunch of volunteers. And please go out and enjoy another drink. There's plenty of food out there. And I reckon it's time we wished happy birthday to Actors Equity.
Happy birthday, Equity!
Cheers. Cut.